Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Sean Gardner and Jeff Horger from Nothing Now Games.
Correct.
And we'll be looking at a Richard Berg design, obviously prototype components right now, not finished, called the Big Apple.
Yes.
And I hope you give an overview here. There's a lot on the board, a lot going on. I don't know if this is how we start or this is a mid-game situation. And
This is the end of the first era.
End of the
it's
first era.
three eras. This is the end of the first era, basically.
Okay. And what are we doing in the game? What are we trying to accomplish with our goal here?
The game is about the creation of New York City from the days of the Dutch settlements all the way through to the modern day skyscrapers.
Okay.
So you are starting in the downtown area of Manhattan and you're settling. And then as the game progresses, you're moving ahead on the board into the midtown and finally uptown areas.
Okay.
It's a tile placement, area control type of game, but it also has a management of the population. They're going to come in waves and droves, and you're going to have to either find housing for them or you're going to have to shift them over to the outer boroughs.
Okay.
And you have to build bridges to the boroughs to get them out there. The game's also full of lots of nasty Richard Berg type dirty tricks.
Okay.
It's a Richard Berg game. We don't apologize for that, and we're very proud of it.
So are you representing mayors, city council?
We're representing factions of people.
Factions of people.
If you
Different
want to get
sort
it
of.
down the most, you could say I'm the Irish, I'm the Irish, the Italians,
Okay.
the African Americans, all the different groups that have come into town.
Is it muted?
Sounds like it just sounds a little low.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so you're basically a block, like a voting block of people,
Okay.
and your objective is to keep your people happy, keep them housed, while at the same time trying to make sure that your opponents are having their people unhappy.
That's right. Well, if
And
that happens
overcrowded.
as a byproduct of what you were doing, then so be it. Yes.
There's definitely a political component to the game where you're trying to be elected mayor at the end of every era.
Okay.
It gives you some control over resetting the turn order at the end of every era, and it does give you bonus points and extra political points.
Okay. And the eras that you're talking about, 1700s, 1800s, 1900s,
Correct.
as you go through here, can you give examples of gameplay of what we're doing here?
Sure.
Or if it's the start of the second
so
era?
on a turn, you would be able to do 3 actions. An action is to lay one of these building tiles down. You can lay them down in any empty spot, or you could tear down a building that you already have. The little number value tells you how much it costs to tear it down beside the bulldozer.
Okay.
So I don't know if anybody if you can see that.
Yeah, we can zoom in.
All right. So
Okay.
you would have to tear this building down. You have to pay $2,
Please zoom in.
and it would come down, and you could build another building over top of it. The fun, for me, the most exciting, most strategic part is as the game progresses, the downtown area becomes more and more valuable. So the land down in southern Manhattan increases threefold by the end of the game. So
Right.
you're wanting to get down here and then eventually make it the skyscrapers down here really bring in the money.
You replace your small businesses with large businesses, small housing with large housing, and it's important as well because you have to manage your population every turn. These are population counters, and every turn you have to take a certain number of them. Everybody will pick in reverse turn order one of the population cubes to put out. It'll end up in overflow, or it'll end up out on one of your housing blocks, and there's a little symbol there that tells you how much each housing
Okay.
block can
And
control.
here. Okay.
The population does become a hard thing to manage, so eventually you have to build bridges over here to the different boroughs and move your population out into the boroughs.
Okay. Seasonal parks. Obviously, you're going to be controlling land to occupy in later turns. Got a fire marker in here.
Yes,
What,
that's a
what
fire
are
station.
other things going in? Oh,
Those are fire stations.
I thought it was an ongoing fire in
Yes, it's,
downtown there.
Simpsons
That would
tire
be
fire.
On event cards.
That'd be very different.
They happen on event cards.
You can build a fire station, a police station, and a hospital. There are
Okay.
different event cards that happen every turn. Example, that one's overcrowding. So basically, every player that has a population token in the Manhattan overflow box has to lose 2 political points.
Okay.
The next one's wave of immigration. You rerun and everybody puts
Everybody
another
throws just a
piece of
token in
population in there.
Okay.
There are ones that affect you if there's a fire. If you have a fire department, you're protected. If there's street riots or gang riots, you're protected if you have a police station. And you
Okay.
do get victory points at the end of the game if you have a set of police, hospital, and fire in a given area.
Okay. Providing services for people here. We have a political deck on the side.
Those are the Richard Berg dirty tricks.
Okay.
You start with a hand of
give
5
some-
of those.
Oh. All right.
Yeah, you start with them. They're all
Bunch to
good. You
choose
just
from.
keep running with them.
All right.
They might not be shuffled.
Possibly not shuffle. All right. We'll pull some
okay.
out at random from here.
So you also start with 6 political points, And there are different buildings. If you build a cultural center, you'll get 5 additional political points. The other buildings that give you additional political points.
Okay.
End of the era, you can earn political points for various conditions that are over on
End of the era.
this card, your end of the era card. So you go down through and you can get different political points for having the most housing, the most businesses in the area, and for being adjacent to a cultural center.
Okay.
So you use your political points each turn. One of the actions, as Jeff said, is to put down a building and build a building, or tear down a building and build another. Another option is to play a card and take a card. Most of the political cards let you, before I see these,
Yep.
so if I paid 3 political points for this card, I could force another player to trade me 1 item for an additional item. So if I wanted to move this small business over here to the waterfront, or if I had a house that I wanted to move from a non-waterfront property to a waterfront property, you could cause a switch.
Okay.
It lets you poke other players gently. There's nothing too terrible. It does kind of balance out in the end. But it does allow for some player interaction. It's not just a sit by yourself and build New York City game.
Okay. Well, there's limited space in which to go,
Yes,
so you are
lots of
naturally going to
competition.
be fighting over that. Okay. And a turn order here as well. I don't know if you're going to show just other possible things you can do.
Yeah, so every turn, there'll be an event. You'll have an immigration phase where you pull the people, immigrants come, and you have to place them either in the overflow box or out on your houses. Then you take your 3 player actions. Then you consolidate your population, so you have a chance to move population out onto the board. And then when the last player takes their turn, you move the turn track, which is way up there at the top of the board,
Okay.
and it tells you how many actions there are.
There's always
3 actions. In the 3rd era, you don't always have extra population coming in. At the end of the 4th turn, you have the end of an era, and that's when you score the end of an era and you vote for who the mayor is.
Okay.
So you use political points and money to buy votes, and whoever's the first place position in mayor will get 8 political points,
8 victory points.
8 victory points. The person who's in second place will get 2 victory points.
Okay. And so after the end of the 3rd era, we're looking only for victory points that we have acquired from
Correct.
end of the era activities, or
Yes.
what else as well is going
If
to
you
give
flip
us?
over on the back of the score sheet, there's also end of the game victory points right here. So there's a little laundry list of things that will give you a few more points. You actually score points for your cultural centers instead of scoring political points. You get points for having housing next to parks.
Okay.
You get points for having sets of fire, police, and hospital. You get 3 points for having the most guys in control of each one of the outer boroughs. So if you have the most population in Queens, you get 3 points.
Okay.
You lose
And
points.
also, for the guys who decide they don't want to care about the population, we had to put the rule in for crime. Anybody you have left over in the Manhattan overflow box is going to take points away from you.
Okay.
Because we had people just ignore that and play testing.
There are also some cards in the political deck which will allow you to score extra points at the end of the game.
There are-
Okay. And what about the publication of the game?
Publication is going to occur via Kickstarter.
Okay.
We're looking to go to Kickstarter the week after Gen Con.
Okay, so
this is
mid-August,
Mid-August.
2016.
This is our last alpha version that we've been play testing with the past year and a half.
Okay.
We've been developing this for quite a while, and we'll be going and having a beta copy printed and sent out to reviewers, hopefully by the end of July, so that we can get that out to the public and get some reviews during the Kickstarter.
All right. Okay. Anything else you didn't ask about? That covers.
We are looking into maybe having wooden blocks, because Richard sent it to us as a 3-dimensional game.
Right.
It is quite spectacular to look at 3 dimensions of Manhattan being built.
Okay.
It's also very, very chart heavy. Because you can
Okay.
see there's so much information on the tiles.
Right.
Now that all has to be on a chart. And all you have is a block out in front of you.
Okay.
We're
trying
weighing the pros and cons.
We're
Right.
trying to get some buildings sculpted where you can put the population token on the top of the building, but then we'll have to have a larger chart on the side.
Bigger box.
Bigger box,
this, bigger
heavier
that.
weight for
Yeah.
shipping. So we're gonna try to ask some of those things during the Kickstarter so we can get feedback from
Right.
people that are interested in buying it.
Yes. A lot of considerations then
Yes.
for doing that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks for the overview of
Great.
the Big Apple.
Cool. Thank
Sean?
you.
Jeff?
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.